What is up, everybody? Keith Jameson, Go Guy 231 across the DFS industry, and kudos to you, you sick person that is listening or watching this video for this 2-game EPL slate. Like, I don't know if anybody ever listens to Bill Simmons. It's kind of one of my guilty pleasure sports pods, but when they do their like little odds thing, they go the poopfecta games, you know, that you should be out like apple picking. This is the Saturday of true poopfecta that you should probably do anything but play. But you are a crazy person like myself. You're playing the slate, which I might forget the teams. I didn't even write down the notes on this because it's so bad. But we've got Wolves hosting Nottingham Forest. The Morgan Gibbs White Revenge Tour has started. And then we have Fulham hosting Bournemouth, a rematch of some games that nobody cared about in the championship. And if it was on a big slate, we probably wouldn't care too much about it anyway. So this will be fun. This will be short. I'm going to do you a favor and return time to you. I'm going to go really quick through this now that I've done my own little like soliloquy about just how crappy this is. So just a reminder, like, subscribe, comment, video, pod. Make sure you're on the pod feed. All sorts of great stuff. I'm going to talk more about just the awesome content that we've got going on FSI. You got TK and McKinley rocking out NHL Nightly. Not a ton of NHL content out there. And those two are crushing it. We've got John with the PGA coverage. We've got myself, Zach, and TK also doing NFL showdowns. Just explicitly NFL showdowns. Been crushing it over there. So just make sure you're checking out the content, whatever is relevant to you. And finally, if you want more premium coverage, little link for subscriptions, just definitely join on. Tindrell Storm and I, if you don't see me on the leaderboard, you see Tindrell Storm always up there at the top, cover all the soccer cores. So anyhow, let's talk about the game. So let's start off with Fulham hosting Bournemouth. Fulham, Pereira is a lock. I think it's Andreas. I didn't write down my bank receipt notes. Mine is like 120. God, Pereira, Monopoly set pieces. Don't overthink it. He's like 8,400, which is probably $2,400 more than he should be, but it doesn't matter because there's nobody else to play in this slate. Fulham would be really helped if Mitrovic is fit. If not, it's like Carlos Vinicius, who couldn't start for PSV. Okay, that's all you need to know. Like, couldn't start in the Dutch league, and so now we're going to be a starter in the Premier League. Probably not. I owned a silver card for a while. It was not a pleasant experience. So I guess GPP. Daniel James might be a popular punt. You know, he'll be playing winger. On the other side, it's Cabano. If he was forward eligible, he'd be a great play. 2 straight games with an assist. It's harder that he's midfield because all the decent plays are at midfield. Fulham fullbacks don't do all that much. We got Jedi back there. Anthony Robinson doesn't do that much for them. Maybe he will here because Bournemouth is that bad. On the other side, they've been playing like Bobby Reed. They could play Tete. Who's the other right back? I don't even know. Whoever plays right back for them will be okay. And then Bernd Leno. I do think that Carriage Road is a really, really good home field advantage for Fulham here. So I can definitely see paying. I think it's a pay-up goalie slate because there's going to be so little. It's going to be like, who do you get right on the favorites? Is it going to be Leno or is it going to be Sa? Who's going to get that clean sheet win? Whoever does, that's going to be a huge deal. So this is a really, really important goalie slate. I do think I kind of did a little, for those that watch these videos and listen a lot, I appreciate it. I did a little starter on the Champions League slate and talked about how I love the goalie that got like negative 12. So you're welcome for that. But, you know, just in terms of the process of, you know, a lot of times picking the cheaper goalie and then seeing what fits. This 2-gamer, when you don't have a lot of points, I think is the exact opposite. You desperately need to get goalie right because they're going to account for a lot of the points. So, yeah, that is that. So, on to the Bournemouth side, there's really only 2 plays that you should actually consider. It's Marcus Tavernier, who takes Monopoly set pieces, even in terrible matchups. This isn't like a terrible matchup. It's not a great matchup. He still produces. So I think he is by far the top play for Bournemouth. And Ryan Christie was chalk last slate, too cheap. I dismissed him because he doesn't have sets. I used to love Ryan Christie for Celtic when he would have sets. But he's still pretty active. It's like 5,500 or something, so he's fine. Nobody else from Bournemouth should be in play. All right, Wolves hosting Forest. Let's just start on the Forest side because it's easy. There's one play. It's Morgan Gibbs-White. It's forward eligible, taking Monopoly their set pieces. You know, if Lodi's in, Lodi can take a random set piece. Nico Williams was for a while, but he doesn't take anymore. So it's Gibbs-White. He's a former Wolves player. He's expensive. I don't think it's a must because, again, it's away. They're like a plus 400 dog, but if we're just building up floors and we're just going like goals don't exist on the slate, which very well, the goals may not exist on this slate, then Gibbs-White, you know, is going to have one of the better floors. So that's the only play I'm really interested on the Forest side. They stink. Wolves, a lot more interest overall. They actually could be somewhat interesting, depending on who's in. I think if in, Adama Traore is the lock of the slate. He's only 5,500. He fills a forward spot. Hopefully he rubs up tons of oil all over those arms like he likes to do and is just electric. I mean, he did really well versus Chelsea as a punt. He's underpriced given the texture of the slate. So I think he would be an easy lock. There's no Pedro Neto, which would be easier. I do think that unfortunately we are in a João Moutinho slate. I have a long checkered past with Grandpa Moutinho. 4,300 though, took set pieces versus Chelsea. He could lose him to Guedes. Nunez was taking at some points of the season. Neves took in a game. Wolves sets are a mess, but the one guy that kind of consistently will jump over there on the corner flag from time to time, and if he like says I want a corner, nobody's gonna back down from Papa Moutinho, Grandpa Moutinho. I don't know. I don't even have a good nickname for him. Just Moutinho. So it's 4,300. He's cheap. He's a home favorite. There's a chance of set pieces. You probably don't overthink it. It stinks, but whatever. So Moutinho, and then Guedes, as I mentioned, really talented player. Has been taking set pieces. He subbed off at half versus Chelsea. I didn't watch the game. I'm assuming that when a guy subs off at halftime, that's indicative that he wasn't all that good. But this could be a good spot for him. Then if you really want just some fun, play Diego Costa. That guy is probably salivating for a goal in the Prem again. So yeah, I mean, it just sucks. And you got your fullbacks for them, which they don't do that much. Johnny Otto was actually doing pretty decent at right back, but now they're going to move him back to left back, which is a natural foot, so he'll go back to doing nothing. Semedo, like, still the funniest signing I think I've ever seen. I don't know why it doesn't get more press, but, like, he got signed for, what, like 35 or 40 million to Wolves when, like, he could barely even make Barcelona's game day squad, so obviously a little something going on there in terms of payoffs, but anyhow, I guess he's fine too. Again, it's going to be a goalkeeper slate. I think the whole Sa versus Leno decision is going to be really important. I think I lean Sa. I just don't like Forest. I do think that Wolves at Malinu is another home field advantage, but you know, maybe like if you're really like concerned, you just start splitting your cash games up, like one with Sa, one with Leno. Trust the rest of the process, and if they both do well, then you cash. I don't know. That would be a big decision. So cores at the end. I'll get out of here. I thought let's go 5 minutes. It's 9 minutes. I had to complain so long about how much this like stunk. But anyhow, core plays: Andreas Pereira, Adama Traore. I'm trying to think of who my third would be. Moutinho. And at that note, I have to end the pod. Can't take any more. Guys, thanks so much for, guys and gals, I should say. Thank you so much for watching. With that, I'll say, see you.